Speaking of, law enforcement and firefighters in our area want to make sure all the kids heading back to school are safe and remembering important tips throughout the new year.
ABC 15's Amanda Kinseth is live for us this morning on Surfside Beach. What you got to tell us this morning, Amanda?
That's right. Well, there's a lot to think about when your kids are going to school, and a lot of conversations you need to have about things they need to know, especially when they get home from school. If you know, the parents might not be home and children are home, there's a lot of things that can happen.
Sure. You know, probably the key thing is right here where we're on, in the kitchen.
Right.
And, the cooking-related incidents, particularly after school, 2 to 5, we see a lot of those, and they start right here.
Sure.
Stovetop. Kids love French fries. I love French fries. But really try to make all the snacks for the kids out of the refrigerator. Just don't give them the option to turn that stove on. But grease fires are by far concerned. And microwaves, the food that they would heat up, whether it's popcorn or whatever you heat up in the microwave. 2 minutes heating something up, 200 is one thing. One more zero gives you 20 minutes.
Right.
And with attention spans maybe a little shorter, they're off doing something else, and we could have a big issue like that.
That's a big thing. You know, you don't think about that, but yeah, you put in 2 minutes. But if you just hit it one more, boom, that's a lot.
That's a fire.
One more thing you suggest to have is, you know, have the emergency numbers on.
Have the numbers and make sure that they know what the number is and what to do when they call it. You know, where they live basically is the first thing.
Right.
What the emergency is. With their name and their phone number. They're going to ask those 4 things. So
sure.
Then, you know, but if it's something on fire, get out of the house. Do that from the neighbor's yard.
Yes.
Or the neighbor's house.
Yes.
Or somewhere else.
And know your neighbors too. Maybe they can help keep an eye. Guys?
Yeah, basic information there, but some things kids don't know. They need to know their own address, right?
Yes, we got to remind them.
Well, it is back to school for kids in the PD. Summer almost over for kids in Horry and Georgetown counties, and as those students head back to class, local firefighters want them to be safe and prepared for the new school year, especially, you know, hanging out at home after school, sometimes by themselves.
Yeah, ABC 15's Amanda Kinseth is live this morning with the details. Good morning.
That's right, yeah, you want to talk through some safety tips with your kids, you know, when they get home, when they're coming home from the bus or from the school or whatnot, and, you know, backpacks too. Backpacks can make a big difference.
This can weigh you down.
Yes.
Particularly if a child's running to catch the bus or running to catch up with his friends. Easy to trip, fall. This stuff can get hung on anything and knock him down, so you really got to be careful on that. And then when they're on the way to the bus or in the morning, keep eye contact with that school bus driver. You know, to teach them that's the person that's sort of in charge of getting on that bus, so they can tell them when to get on the bus, when to get off the bus. And the folks out there that are driving around the buses, folks, slow down, watch what you're doing. If you don't know whether you should stop or not, stop.
Right.
You know, keep those areas clear. Watch out for the little kids, because they are small. They'll dart from behind the bus. You really got to keep an eye for them.
Sure, and you know, they are tiny, especially when you think about these kindergarten, first, second graders. You can't even see them sometimes.
No, they're behind cars. They could hide behind cars. They will dart in and out of cars, crossing the crosswalks, and then teaching the kids about the crosswalks and crossing at the corners and not the jaywalking stuff. And but basically, watch that bus driver and listen to mom and dad.
Right, and you know, maybe go with them and pick them up from the stop and kind of teach them the way to go.
It's an excellent idea to doesn't hurt a thing to get out there with them every day and back and show them those good examples. Right.
And then, gosh, yeah, it's like you can do weightlifting with backpacks, right? It's for first grade. Guys.
I remember when Charlie picked out that backpack in back-to-school shopping not that long ago.
Tax-free weekend.
That's right.
Good memory. As kids head back to class, law enforcement and firefighters want to make sure they're safe and remembering important tips throughout the new school year.
That's right. ABC 15's Amanda Kinseth is live this morning on Surfside Beach. Good morning.
Good morning, that's right. Yeah, you want your kids to be safe, and this is a good idea for not just parents of children, but any age. We're talking about emergency numbers and contact numbers of, you know, family and whatnot. Having those on the refrigerator.
Put them, you got yours posted here, and you got yours at eyeball level for the little ones.
Yeah,
so
because my kids are young, so this is about right where they'll see it, right at their level. And then, you know, you've got the emergency numbers, of course, 911. Telling them what to say when they call 911 is important. Exactly.
When you call 911, we want to know what the address is, first of all. So if something happens, the phone gets disconnected, at least we know where we're going. We will send help. What the emergency is, whether it's a fire, whether someone's sick, whether you need law enforcement, and your name and phone number. Obviously, if it's a fire situation, leave the house. You know, a lot of people use cell phones. Get out of the house. or go to a neighbor's. If kids can't do it here, send the kids to a neighbor. But give them those full information bits.
Yeah, it might be good to have a neighbor, you know, that you know well to say, hey, go here if there is an emergency. And something that you mentioned I didn't even think about, when you guys go to a house to respond to somebody, you check the refrigerator for family contact information. So really, everybody should have those numbers posted on the fridge. It's a good spot for them, guys.
That's good info.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
I'll be the first to say it. I honestly never thought of that.
All right.
That bell means what? Back to school, right?
Yeah, kids in the PD today, right now, in fact.
Yeah, and even though summer is still going on for kids in Horry and Georgetown counties, they're about to go back as well, and local firefighters want them to be safe and prepared for this new school year.
And that's why we are learning from the pros this morning. Amanda Kinseth is live in Surfside Beach to explain.
That's right, and we're walking up now to where the bus stop would be for the children in this neighborhood. And, you know, you got to think, elementary kids are down here.
Small. You can't see them.
And you can't see them. Heck, you can't see us around an SUV.
Right. And that's most of the stops are on the corners. Even though we're driving down through these neighborhoods, just because the bus is not there, you still really need to pay attention to the speed limit. And pay attention to what could come behind a vehicle parked here, because again, it almost hides us. You can imagine a 7 or 8 year old, real easy.
And we were talking about backpacks too.
They're carrying this, and this is heavy in my arms, but on a child, easy for them to stumble, fall. So you really got to be careful. All the straps on stuff like this, you know, get the right thing. You may want to either tie this in a knot or cut it off so it doesn't get hung on something and trip the child up. And if they have hoodies or with the little drawstrings, really be careful with those, because they get hung up on things really easy as well.
Sure, absolutely. And, you know, you talked about earlier with the parents really kind of teaching their children what they need to do and maybe going with them this first couple of days.
Please do that. Get out there, coach them, show them where to cross the street, where not to, and to watch the school bus driver. That's going to be that person that's going to tell them to get on the bus or stay back. So really keep an eye on them, let them tell them which way to go and when not to go, and just tell the kids they really have to watch out for the cars that are around.
Right.
Make sure.
It's all about safety, guys.
Well, our thanks to them, Horry County Fire Rescue, for giving those tips this morning.
Absolutely. It's always good to remind parents and kids how to be safe.